All right, I think we're going to start rocking and rolling. Everybody's rolling? Everybody's good? Okay. Did being on Theater Row influence the music retail options such as Kelly's and some of those additional touches that you guys did in Ebony and Ivory? Did that impact you guys, or were you already thinking, hey, I've got Ebony and Ivory, we're going to throw a grand piano up there?
Well, it had nothing to do with our idea to put Kelly's in, because we purchased this property and there was 7,000 square feet that had been vacant for 25 years, and it was COVID and no one else was going to step up to do any kind of music or restaurant proposition. The only people that wanted you to pay 100% of the TIs and totally turnkey it. And that was going on in other markets. And I figured, well, if we're going to do that, we might as well put our own concept in here, which is Kelly's Olympian out of Portland, which we've owned and operated for 25 years. So it seemed like a natural to put that down here, and it fit right in with what was going on, close proximity to the hotel, the Pantages and Rialto theaters, etc. So that's why we did that.
Do you think, though, if someone had leased the space, you would have been okay not doing it? Because, I mean...
Absolutely. The last thing I want to do is do a restaurant.
I don't know, Jeff. I feel like that's been kind of just that passion you brought up with you from Portland.
Well, it's there, yeah, but, the restaurant business can be a scary business.
For sure.
But if I was going to do one, I would do it here, and we are doing it here. But I agree. I think it has actually a high probability factor of being successful here in this Tacoma marketplace and here on Broadway.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think we're similar. I mean, I don't think, Theater Row really played into it. I kind of feel like we decided we wanted to create an amazing space that people would want to be in. And, we were fortunate to already connected with Ebony and Ivory, and so we're able to create a really special space that they could really excel in. And it's just been awesome to see how well it's done since they've come in.
The job you guys did, phenomenal. I mean...
Oh, thank you. Yeah, it's really... It's really fun to kind of, be able to have that space.
But I think the starting point absolutely was just something cool, and what would be an amenity that people would appreciate that were in the building. And so ideas that came to mind in our brainstorming included a wine bar, a coffee shop, and then the space itself always gives you a little bit of vision. So standing in the space, that was an old U.S. bank space, high ceilings. But the obvious question is, what do you do with the vault? And so what came to our mind there was a speakeasy maybe inside, or a wine storage place was another idea. And then we realized when we tore it apart, there's a space on top of the vault. What do you do with that? And that's where, brainstorming a little bit, we came up with this, let's put a grand piano up there. That'd be cool. And then you also notice behind that piano is a bunch of photos of famous people playing a grand piano, just to kind of make the theme. But we have always had the idea that there'd be an event space in there, and we just thought a grand piano would be the cherry on top.
It's been really fun. I mean, it's really cool how it's come out.
Well, I think it's probably the best proposition in Tacoma. Mm-hmm. I don't know that I can recall a better one. I think you guys have set the bar, which everything else is going to be measured by in the future.
Yeah. I'm getting comments on Tacoma Rising from brokers in Seattle talking about that lobby and saying it's the best one in Tacoma. And I mean, the Road Center is no slouch. I mean, did a nice job in the Road Center, but I mean, it is incredible. And I remember we did the Tacoma Rising tour back a year and a half ago, right before you were opening.
Yep.
And the cool thing, like, you have a habit of always having so much information, and it's always really interesting. And then you asked me, is this going to be interesting? I was like, yes, everyone's going to eat this up. This is awesome. And as you were telling me previously, before we actually did the tour, you just kept taking me on another layer, and kept peeling it back. Oh, and there's going to be a grand piano up there. I was like, well, that's a no-brainer. This is going to be awesome. And so, to that question, I guess back, it was just a happy accident then. It was just one of those things that just happened that Ebony and Ivory, they're great with music. Obviously, they have a band. Kenan plays the piano. Was that just one of those things that, hey?
Well, I mean, I think it's kind of design, and when you just get good people together. You get good people together that are creative. You have an environment where they can work together and think about things, and amazing things come out, and I think what we created there is really a collaboration of a lot of really good creative people, which has just been fun. And so when you have that kind of environment, that sort of state of mind, just more good ideas come. It's like, hey, how about a piano? How about putting a band up here? Can we make a speakeasy? And it's like, wow, you get all excited, and then it's like a snowball going downhill, and it all kind of comes together.
I'm not a big believer in happy accidents or getting lucky, actually. Yes, you sometimes get good luck, but you put yourself in a position to get good luck, or put yourself in a position.
Right.
Yes. And so to punctuate my partner's point, there was a lot of creative people that get credit for those ideas, and maybe some wine involved even.
Yeah.
And it's fun. I mean, I will tell you that creative process, and you guys know it. Yeah. It's almost just the most fun you can
Absolutely
have, so.
I have a philosophy, and I've been doing it for years, that I want to work with my friends. So like I enjoy it because I always feel like I want to see my friends succeed. So when I pick people, whether it's the Tacoma Rising board or people I partner with and stuff, I've looked for qualities I would like. I'd love to hang out with this person. I enjoy this person. And I feel like that always helps. When you guys meet folks, when you guys are looking to partner, and I'm working with you both, so you take me out of it. But with the Ebony and Ivories and Quentin and some of the other folks that you guys are partnering with, what do you guys look for? What do you see? Or is there something? Is it a feeling?
I go by my gut myself, 90% of the time on everything. But
Yeah, I mean, I would say that, and it's like the beer test. At the end of the day, if you don't think you could have a beer with this person and enjoy it, you just don't want to work with them. So it all goes back to, it's probably high school or college. You knew who you liked to hang out with, and if you felt like it was a good person you'd want to hang out with, well, those are the kind of people that you want to shake hands on deals with. And then, we always say, at the end of the day, deals are made between people, not on paper.
right.
You know what? And if you feel like, okay, I can shake hands with this person and it's going to work out, papering it's easy. If you don't feel like you can shake hands with them, good luck papering it. It's just going to be trouble.
We actually did a condo project and pre-sold a bunch of condos, and we had put in the contract that we have the right to buy you out if you're not happy. And the idea being, we don't really want unhappy people in our project, and they do a lot of damage. So if we can't fix it and make you happy, then we'll buy you out.
Especially when they get on the condo board and then want to sue you.
Yeah. But my point is, funny, we had one, complainer, and we immediately asked them, would you like your money back? And boy, did they back off quick. No. So we never had to actually implement it.
But I think you're right. I think the gut, you go with your gut. Or I guess,
Well, when you've been doing it as long as we have, I mean, you guys have been doing it longer than me, but I've been doing it for 35 years.
Another important dimension that comes to mind is, will they be successful? It doesn't do me any good to lease space to somebody who goes out of business. And so that might be a second thing I look for is, do they actually feel like they know how to run a business? And do their numbers add up when they show you a business plan? And that's especially important for startups like Ebony and Ivory. And their business plan, of course, was spectacular. But we had others we turned away because their numbers didn't even add up. So it's really important that I've got a feeling that they're going to be successful in our project.
And that, and Ebony and Ivory, that turns into more of a partnership, because how many, are they in 3 of your buildings right now?
Yep.
So as you guys have been growing in the area, which you've got a lot of square footage here, they've been growing with you guys.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Yeah. No, it's been a great partnership, but also one where we always say, and we've done this multiple times, look, both sides can get out. It's so we're different in real estate. In real estate, everything's 3-year leases, 5-year leases, 10-year leases. A lot of times we'll do, hey, let's build something great, but if it's not working, either side can get out. And that actually, I think, does something. That kind of means you really are doing it because you want to do it. You want to create something really special.
I kind of look at all of our tenants as partners. We're important for them to succeed, and they're important for us to succeed. So if you start with that philosophy as a starting premise, you pick pretty good tenants.
Absolutely.
I mean, going back to your question, we're college roommates.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
So it's kind of like you
don't
talked
tell
about
that story.
doing business. Well, just doing business with friends. You know what?
Mm-hmm.
Life's a lot more fun, and you get things done a lot better if you work with people you like.
Yeah, it is a funny story, because I remember asking my other friends, would you go into business with a good friend? And most of them say, hell no. And they all have war stories about breaking friendships apart based on a business not working out. So that was my biggest worry when Mike was proposing I join MJR. And so we wrote a 2-page friendship contract that defined exactly what would happen if neither one of us were happy with the business. Because the premise being the friendship was more important than the business. And that was more than 20 years ago.
Yep. It's been great.
You guys are making a big investment, both of you. I mean, would you say around $100 million in between the two buildings, or the
Oh, yeah.
well,
More than
1102?
that.
More than that.
More than that.
If you look at everything
Yeah.
that Jeff,
yeah.
and we've got
Well-
one building, but Jeff's got 5 buildings in down here, I think.
Well, let's just talk Broadway.
Just
on
2 on
Broadway.
Broadway, though.
2 on Broadway, and is it around 100 million? A little more than 100.
We're
between
probably a
Tacoma
couple
Center?
hundred between what you
Is
guys
it 200?
have. Oh, yeah. Easily, yeah.
Okay. Well, my math is low tonight, and I apologize. So 200, that's a big investment. It's a really big investment. I had a question about highs and lows that you've seen over the years, right? There's ups and downs. You guys came into the market where you guys were, is it 2022 that you guys got the Tacoma Center?
I think so.
Right. I think it was 2022, right at the end of 2022.
It's always hard to remember.
Yes.
But well, especially after COVID, and you got involved in 2020 right after COVID.
Well, here, but
Yeah.
it's
It's
across the street, 2017.
right with the, but I guess I'm kind of referring back to Broadway with the Road Center Broadway and the highs and lows of COVID and some of the things we've had happen. Do you guys feel that we're riding up on a high now after COVID, or are we riding on a low right now? How are you feeling about where things are headed?
I mean, I
say
think it's
up,
heading
way up.
Way up. I
Yeah,
mean,
I agree.
Wall Street Journal article today,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, basically said actually office is coming back, quality office.
Quality.
Quality office is in demand in certain major cities around the country. Tenants can't find quality office. I mean, I really feel
Right.
like, what Jeff's done here at Rhodes and what we've done and are really trying to do at Tacoma Center is to create quality. And I think, people recognize quality. I actually think it's more important now than it was before the pandemic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think now people are trying to get their employees back in the office. They want to build cultures.
Right.
So they want to go to buildings that are quality, that they can create that kind of environment. So
Right.
I think in a way, there's never been a better time for creating quality spaces for companies that are really trying to grow going into those spaces. So
Do you feel like we could say that I made a comment about this, and I think you and I talked about this a little bit. I feel like 2024 was a pivotal moment for Tacoma, for office in Tacoma. And the reason why I say that, I just feel like, especially after Moody's study that came out about it being we talked about the data. What does that really mean? And data is all over the place on that. But I do believe that there was this moment that as we came out of 2024, coming into 2025, it feels like there's this moment that shifted. Would you guys agree with that? It sounds like obviously things are up, but have you felt that shift yet, or that pivot?
On the demand side, I'd say yes. I think the pivotal moment was more like 2021 when 4 big buildings were sold and these investments were actually made. And that was during the low point when prices got attractive enough. Mm-hmm. So that started the house of cards in a positive way. And obviously COVID was tough on the office market specifically. But now on the demand side, it's on its way up, as was earlier stated. But the seeds were sowed earlier, I guess, is my argument.
And I agree with that, because I remember when I saw that you guys purchased the building and Interurban purchased down on Pacific Avenue. I felt that too. But I felt like with some of the things that have happened and gone down, it kind of it kept going down a little bit and it came back up. But I just feel like there was something in 2024 that it just felt like it's on, like it's going nowhere but up.
Well, I think we've done 36 months of pretty robust leasing.
Yeah.
So, we started to fill and got near 100% or 100% on multiple properties. And that's why it felt that way.
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, it's kind of funny. It's like you think about like riding a bike. You don't really know. You know when you're going up a hill and you know when you're going downhill. It's kind of hard at the bottom to know, okay, you're truly at the bottom. So I guess it's hard to pick that point where the pivot is. But I guess to your first question, I would definitely say the trend is way better now. I mean, we're in a trend line now that's way better than it was.
Yeah.
And my theory on the 2024 comment is it was people that were on the sidelines not making decisions during COVID have finally decided, okay, I'm going to look forward with what I'm going to do with my company as opposed to wait out the pandemic. And so we're seeing that a lot as people are now saying, okay, what kind of a space do I want going forward? That's just my personal theory of what you're seeing.
You know, the other thing is most office leases are 5 years. Yeah. So if you think about it, every year, 20% of the leases out there, or maybe not quite 20%, roll. Well, during the pandemic, you had a lot of companies that said, we don't know what's going on. What are we going to do? So they kicked the can. They kicked the can down the road. They said, let's do a 1-year renewal or a 2-year. So after a while, then you get this pent up demand. Companies now are having to make decisions. And now instead of it just being 20% of the leases that are rolling, it's 30% or 40%. It's a much larger number. So I think with increasing business confidence, which I think we're seeing, those companies then start to say, okay, let's do something. Right. And when they do something, they go to quality buildings. They're going to go to a place like Jeff's created or that Mike and I have tried to create it. So,
well, and we've been leasing now 6 months and a year in advance. We just leased 10,000 square feet. They don't occupy until 2026.
Right. Awesome.
And a few others not occupying until June, July across the street, but they're leasing now.
Yeah, really cool.
There was a point where I came down the elevator here, and it might be and it's a personal thing for me too. I mean, there was a moment where we were just nonstop in everything we were doing, and it was like you couldn't breathe. And I remember getting off the co-working space, and I think right when we finished this room down here, it felt like I could breathe a little bit. Yeah. And I was kind of like, holy cow, we're not that far away. This is we're going to get this, right? We have the Kellys and some other things we're working on. And I think that might have something to do with it. But there's this switch that I felt like that kind of turned, because it's been a grind for 3 years. Like, I mean, a grind. And it's been, I don't know, it just feels like it's just starting to feel good.
We were messing around with 80,000 square feet just at this property, and we're at 98% right now.
That's so awesome. Congratulations. That is just great. Yeah. A lot of hard work.
Yeah.
Yeah. And a great team.
Yeah. Well, absolutely. Couldn't have done it without Reid. Couldn't have done it without our staff, Emily Meyer.
Can you turn his mic up? I didn't hear that. Bring it back. Come on, re-roll. No, I think honestly, the team it's been an incredible team. It's been fun, but it goes back to being like working with your friends.
Right.
Like,
well, we've developed a friendship, and we're invested in partnerships now. And, everything's rolling.
We went to Vegas. I mean, once you go to Vegas together,
did you go to Vegas?
We did.
Yeah. Can you talk about it?
Oh, hell yeah.
Well, no, that stays in Vegas, Mike.
I just was checking. I mean, I don't know.
Did you leave anything?
Well, we did see Foreigner.
Did you really?
Yeah. We sat front row center.
It was
Foreigner.
so cool.
It was great.
That was almost one of my first concerts I ever went to.
Oh, was it? Oh,
Way
cool.
back. Foreigner and Boston. Remember some of those guys from that era? Oh, my God.
Great stuff.
Yeah.
It was
Sticks.
Yeah. Oh, Chicago.
And I'm
man.
dating myself.
Yeah.
You're not, because I knew almost every Foreigner song.
Is that right?
Oh my gosh, yeah, I love
a lot of hits.
Yeah.
I saw them as well, but then I looked up the band, and there's been something like 35 members that have cycled through the band.
Yes.
And it's basically a brand name now.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
As a lot of them kind of are becoming that way. I mean, I just saw the Spinners at Jazz Alley a few weeks ago, and there's no founding members there anymore.
Yeah.
The last one just died in his mid-80s after they just accepted him.
I saw the Beach Boy. There was one Beach Boy.
You saw the Beach Boy?
They wheeled him up in his walker.
Are you serious?
Which one?
There was one guy left. He was the
Wow.
Beach Boy. It was the Beach Boys. Yeah. This is a few years ago. I don't know if he's still alive, but anyway. Yeah.
That's funny.
So,
Well, you mentioned Chicago. It's one of my favorites, too. Chicago split and formed the Chicago and then the California Transit Authority.
CTA,
So there's really
the other
two
stuff.
bands now with ex-Chicago
Well,
members.
that's because Danny Serapin got kicked out of the band. Literally, they kicked out the founding member, which was Danny Serapin, and the drummer. He
Didn't you
founded
buy
Chicago.
an auction item from him or something?
No, we went to an auction at Jazz Alley for Concerts for Cancer, and Danny Serapin was playing. He was one of the guest celebrities that they kind of had an all-star band, and they were there. But he's been there a few times, and we just saw the real. I take that back. Cut this part out. Not the real Chicago, the East Coast Chicago, at Climate Pledge earlier this year, and that was with James Pankow and Robert Lamb. Again, founding members, but still playing.
Right. Okay, I got her off on a tangent here on this one. So
Yeah.
So we're doing a project, and we're going to convert these existing apartments to condos, and we've got to get to know all the people because we're going to have to ask them to leave. and Mick's going and meeting with them. And
good.
sure enough, he goes in and there are like gold records on the wall and guitars. And it turns out this was like a guitarist from Queen. So next thing you know, because Mick's a friendly guy, the guy's playing Barracuda and Mick's rocking out with this guy.
Heart.
From Heart.
It was Roger Fisher.
Yeah.
Okay.
Roger Fisher was living in these apartments, and I was just trying to talk to him about our project we were doing, but I'm totally distracted by the gold records on the wall.
Wow.
And so he wants to talk about what he wants done with his apartment, and I'm like, time out. What are those? Is that you?
Can you play Barracuda? You know,
Then I figured out he was Roger Fisher, and I knew that's the riff on Barracuda.
wow.
So yeah, I had him jumping around his living room playing Barracuda
Go
opening for
figure
me.
as a developer, the things that you run into, you know.
So why will Broadway be the best block in the state? Hell, America. Why is it going to be the best block in America? Mike, you go first.
You know what? I just think that Broadway's just got such potential. I mean, I think let's just start right there. I mean, I think Tacoma's a great city. I think with the convention center, with the Pantages theaters, with developers on the block willing to do things, with restaurants going, I just think it really has that potential. I mean, the bones are really good, the way the streets put together. It's just kind of the center of town. It's the center here. You know, I think, you think about what does it mean to be the best block? If we all look back in our life and you say, what was the best block you lived on? Well, it wasn't so much how it looked, it's the people. And the longer we're in Tacoma, the more we appreciate how great the people are. And I think the people here are awesome. And I think that's what it's all about. And I really feel like it's just happening more and more. I mean, Jeff, getting Wooden City here and, new restaurant tenants coming in and Kelly's like you're talking about and Ebony and Ivory, and people just want to be here. It's all about the people.
Yeah. And this was once the center of downtown life. Mm-hmm. I mean, this is the huge Road Center department store, Fisher's department store. I mean, this is the most significant walk street in Tacoma.
We're not reinventing the wheel here.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
But the other thing too, I guess, is I think, the best block in the world or the country gets created. And I think we're seeing a real willingness of everyone here, of all the people, to kind of work together. Everyone's willing to like tug the oar.
It's a collaboration, right?
And it's a team, and you don't get that in a lot of cities. Sometimes it's so competitive. And what we're finding, again, it's the people that are willing to say, let's work together. Let's just make this an awesome block.
New Year's Day and Thanksgiving Day, I was actually at Tacoma Center at Ebony and Ivory. A group of us went, and it was fun. It was like, I really hadn't spent a lot of time downtown, like at a coffee shop on the weekends or holidays, mostly during the week. And it was fun. There was a lot of people there popping in, and Kenan and Kenzie do a really cool job of getting people excited to be there. And it's just a fun atmosphere going back to what you guys designed and built there. It's become a watering hole for downtown, and it's amazing that it's a block away from here. And with what we've got going on with Kelly's and everything else, it's exciting. Like 2025 is an exciting year.
Well, this will go from an 8-hour district to an 18-hour district. And
absolutely.
That's,
in 6 to 8 months, it's going to change.
I mean, to that point, within a mile, there's 7,000 apartments. I mean, there are a lot of people here. I mean, we believe, that environments shape us. We believe that environments that are people environments, people spaces are the best kind. And the more we can get people here, the more you can get them working and dining and having fun, the better the spaces are. And I mean, I don't think you've seen anything yet. I think it's just going to go up like crazy.
It's also taking advantage of the meta trend, which is Tacoma's pretty hip.
Yeah, it is.
And I've used the example of my kids thinking it's hip and the younger generation thinking it's hip. And, then you had the question, okay, what are the areas of Tacoma that will be the most popular? But you've already seen examples of that, like Point Ruston.
Yeah.
Look at that place compared to 20, 30 years ago. And the waterfront would be another one on my list. I'd love when I come down here to walk around. But,
do they think we're hip for doing the deal?
No. That's why I don't know.
I mean, I don't get called hip very often, but if they thought we're hip, I think that'd be pretty cool.
That's the whole reason I don't even know why I'm on a podcast.
Yeah. Hey, Q, is Mike hip?
Mike's hip.
Oh, man. All right.
Problem solved.
Pay him to say that. Okay. All right. Thank you.
What about Reid?
It's questionable. It's questionable.
Yeah. No, Reid's hip. Reid's hip. Come on.
I see. There's a couple things that I find really interesting that I'm learning more and more about Tacoma. This is a time where retail has struggled in general across the board. And there's been questions about Tacoma's retail. And I just think it's really interesting when you break down some of the neighborhoods like Proctor. Proctor is one of those neighborhoods that it's just this full life cycle of young families, older folks. And you've got some really great stores. We're going to dinner there tonight at Corbeau, but there's a Brown Vineyard tasting room there. And it's one of 5 to Bellevue, Walla Walla, and I'm not sure the others, but it's their best store, right? Wow. In Tacoma, right? There's a store called Purpose Boutique, Purpose Men. It's a clothing store down in Ruston, which you mentioned, Ruston. Purpose Men, out of 8 stores, is their best producing store in Ruston. So there's a lot of these really little cool, things happening at the Tacoma. There's cool stuff here.
Well, Matador, which is part of a chain, they were the first out of their 10 restaurants. The Tacoma was the first one to come back into pre-pandemic sales levels. Tacoma was first, and also out of their 10 stores has historically been their second highest grossing location.
Wow. Well, I think Pierce County, definitely it's growing faster than King County. I think people are moving from King County.
Yes.
I mean, I don't know if it was last couple of years I saw the stats that just said more homes are selling here and homes are affordable.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, think about it. You can buy a nice home down here at a reasonable price. It's a great quality of life. And I mean, I don't want to talk that much bad about Seattle, but traffic is horrible.
Yeah.
And, Tacoma's got it going on. It's awesome.
Have you guys been able to walk into Wooden City and immediately get a table? Have you ever been able to do that?
No way.
I haven't either. Those things tell me that like Tacoma's, it's going, and it's just finding the right businesses, getting the right people in town, and doing what you guys are doing. And like, I'm not a landlord. You guys are developers, landlords, but I've worked with a lot over the years, and I think the partnership and you guys working together and being on a podcast and the Best of Broadway, the conversations there, it's like you don't see that in Tacoma. I've seen it on the East Coast, not often, but some work together, and hats off to you guys. I mean, I'm working with both of you, and you guys are just, you're always visionaries. You're always thinking, you're ahead, out of the box, and it's been fun to work with both of you a lot. And I'm excited for 2025 because I do feel there was a point in 2024, and for me personally, that things just switched, and I'm excited. Like, I can't believe we had a wrap up. We had an incredible wrap up in December. We got a lot of people reaching out like, hey, can we do some stuff with you at Tacoma Rising this year? We're excited to see what you guys are doing, and it's exciting. So for me, I mean, 2025 Tacoma is going to be exciting.
Back at you, Reid. How long you been working on Tacoma Rising?
Gosh, 3.5 years, probably.
Yeah, that's a very innovative concept.
Oh.
And you don't see something like that in too many jurisdictions that we deal in.
Good point.
And that's, organic, and you started it. And, another one is Urban Works. That was also a very innovative concept, and coming out of some of the other co-working concepts, many of which are bankrupt now.
Yeah, but there's not a lot of successful ones.
Yeah, I mean, I think what's really cool about Tacoma Rising too is it's across different, all sorts of people are there.
Yeah,
I mean, you see business people, you see everyone. It's really fascinating, the breadth of different kinds of people that come. It's really cool. I mean, it shows you that it's popular to people that work in different professions.
Broad attraction.
Yeah, it's really interesting.
I don't think it's coincidence that when I look who's here, and I mean, I talked to a lot of landlords and developers over the last, I'll say 6 years trying to get concepts going, and it's you two. And Mike, we met 5 years ago, somewhere around there, and we've always stayed in contact. And when I've reached out to you from time to time just to chat with you and see how things are going, but we always stay connected. And I've got Kenan on my board for Tacoma Rising, who is partnered with you guys in 3 locations. You've now connected with Jeff, and I just feel like when you get a lot of good things happening, good people get together, and it's been exciting. That's been my favorite thing about 2025 looking forward, how we've created this big group of people that are just fun to work with, and we've got so much going on.
Well, it's funny. I mean, we always say, one of our sayings is, good things happen to good people. You be a good person, you be a good guy, you hook up with good people, and good things happen. And I think that goes, and it's sad to say so many people aren't, but what it really means is, you get together good people, and it's amazing what you can create. And I think Best in Broadway and Tacoma Rising and what's going on, it's really fantastic.
And you met a couple of those from another one of our projects that we've become really good friends. We brought down Mark McNeely and Bobby Moore. Mm-hmm. Mark McNeely owns Mark Ryan Winery, and Bobby Moore is known for the Barking Frog down over in Woodinville, and now owns the one in Bellevue. But anyway, we're still hanging out with those guys too, which is kind of full circle to the earlier conversation about you might as well hang out with people that you enjoy having a beer with or a glass of wine.
I'm so glad you brought Mark up. Oh my goodness. So Mike, I know that we kind of hit music early on the, which is, I know you like music, I like music, but these guys, that's more their passion. But I got a surprise for you. And you. Not so much you, but you'll be all right. But I got something for you guys, and I'm going to wait and see if Emily's down here, but I think they're working on it right now. Oh, yes, she is.
Wow.
Oh, I got
now you're speaking our language.
Look at this. Wow.
So
we're going to take a picture and send it to Mark.
Yeah.
What I wanted to do here is that I want to loosen things up because we've been hitting on the relationships, and you brought up Mark, and I mentioned this, like, you invited me to dinner with Mark and Bobby, and they were awesome.
Yeah.
Like, they instantly, I wanted to change my Brown membership to Mark Ryan immediately.
Hope you did.
And I mean, I feel like I did. But I guess my point is we're going to open up a bottle, and I need you to pick which one you want, or two. I mean, there's plenty of us in here, but they're
all good. I mean,
we're going to slow down a little bit. But I have one question before we jump into that. One last thing before we go into the wine. As we're going into 2025, do you guys have maybe one thing that you're excited about that we can end this on and jump into the wine?
Wow, one thing. The problem is, like, so many things.
It's kind of like I could find one.
One thing
for us, certainly getting Kelly's being opened up is huge, and getting Wooden City on the block and operating is huge too. So
those are the two. Yeah. Those are the two right off my bat too, as well. I was getting those because we've been working on them for so long.
I mean, I would say getting Urban Works at Tacoma Center is going to be awesome. I really feel like we've created a quality building. I really feel like Ebony and Ivory's doing really well, but I'm so excited to tap into the market that Urban Works goes after, the co-working and the small suites. And so I just think it's going to be great. And we've got a lot of floors there where Urban Works can expand. So super excited.
When do you think the phase one will be done?
Well, I'm trying to get the final plans from my architect here, so I could go out and get my construction bids.
I know from personal experience, that could be a while.
He's promised me next week I'm going out for bids here,
Well, to be fair,
as soon as I possibly can, let me tell you.
Well, to be fair, one's done, ready to go, and the other one is they're so close, and
we'll go out for bid next week. We'll probably be under construction in a couple months.
Oh, wow, exciting!
By this summer, hopefully we'll have 2 floors. We'll have a floor of
the suites and the co-working
floor suites. Yeah. And so it's really exciting. So I'm super excited about that.
Yeah, and the good thing is we basically just sold out this week here with a wait list. So, which is incredible. It's been exciting. That's why, again, it was fun kind of switching gears in this year.
I'd add on to the Urban Works comment, the retail spaces we have in the pavilion. Not a lot of people know that Tacoma Center is more than just a tower. There's a pavilion sitting there that is ripe for retailers. So whether that's restaurants or more event places or gyms, but I'm kind of excited to see that part full because that adds directly to the Best of Broadway street presence.
Yeah.
Well, it's awesome. It connects space too. What you guys did with that.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you. Can I do another one?
Yes.
The Best of Broadway. I mean, I think that I think you coined it, or it came from the wine industry. It's a coopetition. I mean, it's really, I think it's unique.
Yeah.
for a couple developers with a lot of space on the same street to say, we just want to work together. We want to make this the best block. We want to make it the best neighborhood. And so I'm super excited for that. Super excited for how Tacoma Rising works in that and Urban works. And yeah, it's going to be a great year.
Yeah.
Out of the 12 events that we have for Tacoma Rising planned, because we do one a month, 6 of them are on Broadway this year, at least right now. 6.
That's
half.
awesome. Wow. That's big.
Reinforces everything that we've been talking about, which is another reason why.
Go read.
Well, I
Can I
think
say
it's
go read, but get my architecture plans done?
fair enough. And to that, let's get some wine, guys.